The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, well, welcome everyone, and thank you for attending today's Q3 product webinar. My name is Jason Root. I head up our operations and client teams. My team and I work with a lot of you every day, and we're really excited to show you these new changes and show you how we've made your Ascend 360 CDP more powerful and easier to use. I see a lot of familiar names in here, and I'm really excited that you've all joined us today. Before getting into the content, though, we'd like to call out a few housekeeping items. All the lines will be muted. Please ask any Q&A that you have in the chat box. Any questions that you ask, we'll try to get to if we have time permitting, and if not, then we'll respond to you via email afterwards. And we will be sending a link out tomorrow of a recording of this training session. So leading our discussion and product demonstration is Scott Gilter, our CEO. He'll be walking us through some of these new updates to the product in just a moment. In Q2, we had actually covered our new form builder and how you can transition that into a fully fledged landing page builder. And today we're going to be walking through several recent enhancements to the product and demonstrate how we've made it more powerful and easier to use. And so with that, I think we're ready to get started. Before handing it over to Scott, we did want to ask a quick poll question of everyone. And we're curious, how familiar are you with these recent changes that we've made? Are you very familiar, maybe liking the updates? Are you familiar but haven't really had a chance to use them? Are you somewhat familiar but confused, maybe need some training? Or are you not familiar at all and that's why you're here today? So I'll give you all just a moment to respond to that question. All right. Well, thank you for those responses. I'm going to now pass it over to Scott. And Scott, why don't we start by kind of walking through the redesign of the CDP homepage and how that makes it easier for clients to find what they need.
All right, great. That sounds good. Jason, you can see my screen okay?
I can.
All right, great. Welcome, everybody. Excited to walk through this. So, first the question is kind of why have we been making some of the changes that we're making? You probably get a sense that we're putting a lot into the product. We're pushing out a lot of new releases. And the intent is ultimately just to make our platform easier and easier to use. I've got a vision and even a belief that within a year or so we'll get to a place where building an email, creating an audience is something that takes you maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and the tool does most of it for you. And I'll kind of explain some of the hows of that as we talk through this, but that really is the vision. Like, let's make this pretty simple. And I think, as it is a sophisticated tool. So we've got data, a customer data platform underneath the covers that has the ability to build audiences and segments, build emails, create campaigns, measure how those campaigns are doing. And so what we're trying to do is start bringing all that stuff together. So let me start with at least the menu. And so what you can see is there's a new menu on the left-hand side. The old menu was actually up top, you might remember, with another menu on the side. And that was a little bit confusing. First, just so you know, this little button right here will push the menu in and out. And that just gives you more work area when you're designing an email or when you're doing something that takes up space, like building an audience. Next thing is all of these folders kind of can open up and give you a few options. And our first one is just create, right? So what do you want to do? Something simple. I want to create an email, and that's what we do. Or I want to create an audience, and that's right here. Then we've grouped other things within their own context, right? So within audiences, you'll have the audience builder, and there's also a complex audience builder, which I could speak to if anyone's interested, or go look at where you put audiences if you're exporting them out to look at. We've got the whole email section, which is designs, templates, image library. We've got campaign section, and that really is all about the measurement and grouping of emails and other social campaigns together. We've got landing pages. Landing pages are really all about collection of data. So our goal is that you've got the ability to build loyalty with your current customers. They're in our system, and you can speak to them within the context of who they are and what they're interested. So if you've got really high value customers, you can speak to them. But we also think about, well, landing pages are bringing new people in, right? These are the little pop-ups and the forms that you can embed into your website. So new people will come in. Then of course you can send them emails and start getting them acquainted with your business, your brand, your resort, your retail location, your e-commerce business. View results. This is really revenue reporting, as well as reporting on emails that get sent out. And a little deeper down are these kind of database insights, right? So we know that all these great database reports exist to go look at how many people are coming into the system and what revenue you've been generating. And this will stay open. As you want to kind of walk through them, you can click on whichever one is there. But back to the homepage, we also created these cards here. And I'm going to speak to these also, but it's really just about, hey, what do you really want to do? Build an audience, design an email, manage campaign, go look at reports, or this is the new campaign wizard, which we will actually walk through at some point today as well.
Yeah, to me, it's pretty clear how easier it is to navigate from here versus our previous homepage. I know we also feel really good about the changes we made to the email design library. Should we head there next? Yeah, absolutely. That sounds great. So, when you say, well, how do you get to the email design library? All you need to do is click on design an email. So when this opens up, what you'll see are longer images of all your emails. You might remember that there was a somewhat similar look, but the emails kind of got cut off right about in the middle. And it was hard to actually tell which email was which, especially if you used a similar hero image, or the logo and the menu took up a lot of space at the top. So those are there. You can scroll down as far as you want. They'll all load. The next thing is there's kind of a status window over here. And if you say, well, I actually just want to look at the ones that are scheduled to send, I can click here and see I've only got one that's scheduled to go out, but that'll tell me which one it is. I might have recurring emails as well, which I just have to click here, or triggered emails, which will add this one called trigger. So you can see I've got two checked at the same time. Now you might be asking, well, what is a recurring email versus a triggered email versus a scheduled email? That sounds confusing. Well, the good news is right down here on our left navigation, we've got a help button. So I'm going to click that help button. What you'll see actually pops up is a bunch of articles, the ability to create a ticket if I need help, and I say, no, I actually need to get some help here. I can create a ticket. What I like to do is click open in full site. And that just opens our help in a different tab. You can see my old tab is here, my new tab is here. And now I can start searching for things. So I'm going to write trigger and hit search. And it will tell me email design status is explained. All right, so a recurring email is a design that's actively scheduled on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So the idea of this one is this thing's going to keep getting sent out as long as the data keeps updating. A great example of this is a post-purchase email. Every day, some people may have made purchases the day before.
So you actually want to send an email to all of those people and offer some sort of upsell, cross-sell, and those are recurring. Scheduled, I would argue, is a somewhat underused tool. And what I mean by that is if you're building an email and you say, well, I'd like to send it tomorrow morning, you got two options. You can either close our tool down, come back tomorrow morning, and when you're ready, hit the send button. The other option is just to simply say, hey, I'm gonna build it now. It's done. I've tested it. Now I'm gonna schedule it to go tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And then you can log out of our system and rest assured that tomorrow at 10 a.m. that email is gonna go get sent out. But it's really only getting sent out once. Over Black Friday, as an example, like if you think about that kind of retail season coming up, you actually might want to schedule 4 or 5 emails to go out over the course of the long weekend. You're sitting at home, actually probably not, you're in the store if you're a retailer, but nonetheless, you're not necessarily having to get into our platform and send things anymore, but they're going out automatically. Triggered, these are designs that are based on a form or some automated submission of data. So a welcome email is a good example, right? We have a form, someone fills out that form and hits the submit button. Right then, that email gets sent out. It doesn't wait until 10 a.m. It just gets sent out. A couple of the other ones are a little more self-explanatory. Draft emails, right? These are new, unpublished. You're editing them, you're working on them. Sent emails or have already been sent, and expired are inactive, meaning it was a post-purchase email. It was getting sent out on a recurring basis. No longer is it actually getting sent out. All right, so now back to here. What we can see is we've got these emails. We can, click whatever statuses we want to, and now we can see, all of these. Let me get rid of this. Okay, so we can see all these statuses. So this status is really nice. There's a couple other things we can do, right? We can do searches here too. If we know, hey, we thought we set up a welcome email, we can just type in welcome, hit enter, and there we go. There's that triggered bike shop email. We've got a boutique welcome, and we've got another welcome that is in, both of these are in draft mode. We can also sort these, right? I can sort them ascending or descending based on design count, and this would be in folders, when it was updated or when it was created. So I can say, hey, look, I created this thing yesterday. Let me sort by that and sort it ascending, and then they will get sorted by that. It's also worth saying that we have these folders as well. So you can, if you're the sort of person that, if you're the sort of person who wants to see the data in folders, what did I do wrong? Let me just refresh that. Sorry about that. If you want to look at them in folders, you can click folders here, and now you have all these folders. You can create a new folder if you want to. You can open up any of these folders just by clicking into it, and then you'll see what else is in here, right? So this is saying there's no more child folders, which is why we don't see another child folder. But now we just simply see all the designs. It's also worth saying that we can look at these in terms of these sort of thumbnails, as we call them, or we can look at it like a set of rows. Some of our clients like this view a little bit more. It's harder to see the thumbnail, but you can actually add columns, right? So you could add as an example, the update date, and that now you can see it in this format. Of course, you've always got the actions over here, so I can duplicate an email, I can move it, I can view its properties, I can preview it, I can look at the report because this one's already been sent, and I can go look at the report to see how it did, or I can finally delete one if that's ultimately what I want to do. So that's a pretty quick overview of what the new designs looks like.
Great. And, you know, Scott, we've heard from a lot of our clients that they wanted it to be a little bit easier to create their marketing campaigns. And so we came up with an enhancement called our Campaign Wizard. I think
Yep.
it would be pretty cool if we could go through that as well.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I'm just going to hit the logo up here, kind of take me back to the homepage. That gives me, you know, again, where I was living. And now I'm going to actually start this campaign wizard. And when I click on it, the first thing you'll see up here is that there is kind of a flow. And that means first we have to say what campaign we want. Then we're going to choose the audience. Then we're going to choose the design. Then we're going to get a summary. And then we're going to send this thing or schedule it or whatever we'd like to do. So let's for this example call this a accessory post purchase, right? Which is I'm going to name this you know, post bike accessory upsell / cross sell. And that's really what I'm trying to do, which is, hey, someone bought a bike from me, or you know, jewelry or season pass or whatever it is that you're selling, and now I'd like to create a campaign that is, you know, following up on that. So now I get to categorize it, and it's important to know that right down here, all these things are really just sort of categories so that you can measure later, right? So some of these things might not even apply to you or your business. In this case, we say, look, I do want to do a post-purchase. Why is that? Well, 50% of repeat purchases happen within 30 days. It's a great metric. I'll tell you that this is universally true. We do a lot of data analysis to see how these campaigns work and how they're working. And what we do see is that after someone makes a purchase, the most likely person to make a second purchase is the person who just made the purchase, and that tends to happen quickly. We see that in the data as well, and that is about 50% within 30 days. Then it's something like 65% happen within 60 days, and then it tails off. You know, after about a year, the repeat purchase you know, goes down quite a bit. You start getting to sort of a lapsed customer, right? Which is another campaign category that we've got. But I'm going to select this right here as my category, and now I get to just start walking through the wizard. So I'll click next, and this will ask me, hey, what audiences what audience do you want to send this to? At some point, we're probably going to make it so you can just build the audience right here. But here's the audiences that are already built. A lot of these are ones that come out of the box in our platform, right? So the post-purchase, and it's telling me actually, hey, this will end up going to 118 people. And that's pretty cool, because what that means is that 118 people made a purchase yesterday. So I'm going to say I want this to be my post-purchase one. I could search the audiences as well. Now I'll click next. And now it's going to ask me, well, what email design would you like? And I'm sure I've got a post-purchase email here somewhere. There's a bike store post-purchase email. That's the one I want. I'm going to select that and click next. Now I get the sort of wizard for what exactly we want, who we want to send it to, and some of the other details around subject line and those sorts of things. So you can see I'm at my summary here. So this is my post-bike accessory upsell cross-sell. It's going to that post-purchase audience that we'd already selected, so it's sitting there. Now I'm going to hit the continue button, and it's going to give me that nice little green circle. So I know that that's already done. Now I can add the from information. This isn't coming from Rob. This is going to come from Ascent 360. I could, choose a from address if you've got multiple. You can see we've got a few. I'm going to send it from info at Ascent 360. or change this one from, this is the from address. So this is who it's coming from. This is if someone would actually hit reply to the email that you send them, this is where it would come to. Same thing, I'm just gonna hit continue, keep rolling through this a little bit. I'm gonna add some properties. You don't need to do this stuff, but you can. So now I've got, hooray for new bike day. I'm gonna change that. I actually wanna say, consider these helmets and accessories for your new bike. So in this sense, who I'm sending this to is really people who bought a bike from me, right? That's my post-purchase. I can insert merge tags. Merge tags are basically fields from the database. So as an example, that could say, Scott, consider these helmets, that sort of thing. I won't do that. I'll just hit continue here. I get another nice green ball. Now I actually do want to schedule this. Since people make purchases every day, I want to schedule this. I want to schedule it. Let's start it on Friday. And I don't want this to go one time. I want it to go daily. And I want that to be sent daily at 11:20 a.m. I can choose a date I want to stop sending it. As an example, this might be a seasonal email, and it has summer pictures and that sort of thing. And as fall comes around, maybe I want to stop that. So I'm not going to, but I'm just going to continue here. Now I get to preview this thing. It'll show me a picture of it. I'm going to send a test. Might as well send it to myself. Hit send email. I should do a little comment on test lists, right? So you can create a test list. It's up in your account settings up here. You can create a test list, and let's just say you put yourself on it. You put 2 of your colleagues. So every time you test an email, it just goes to those 3 people or 4 people. So you don't have to type all their emails, and it's again just a test. I'm happy with what I've done, so I'm going to hit send, and then I'm going to click send it. And this will tell me, hey, if this is sent on September 2nd at 11, it is recurring daily, and these are some of the other features about it. If in fact I now go back to my design library and I look at recurring, there it is. It is ready to go, sending daily 11:20. If I want to stop it, I can do that as well. So that all those sorts of things. So that's I think a pretty good sense of what the wizard is, and all we're trying to do is just kind of bring this stuff together a little bit more, just to make it easier to get this stuff sent out.
Yeah, we're hearing a lot of good feedback from our clients on this step-by-step approach and that kind of wizard guide approach. So hopefully, if you're seeing this for the first time, you like what you're seeing. We think it's a big improvement. Kind of related to this, Scott, is it's always exciting when you're a marketer or business owner to see how these campaigns are working and measure them or kind of manage them when you've got multiple campaigns running. Should we go ahead and take a look at that manage campaigns page?
Yeah, that's a good idea. So I can get there from here, right? I can click campaigns and click all campaigns. I could also click back here on the logo, get to the main screen, and just click manage campaigns. It'll take me to the same spot. So what's the purpose of this? The purpose of this is to give you an understanding of how this platform is doing in terms of helping grow revenue, keep your audiences engaged, those sorts of things. So you can see that I've actually got a bunch of categories here, right? These are categorized campaigns. I've got a high value customer discount. I've got a post-purchase repeat purchase discount. I've got a lapsed customer campaign. You can see that this one I just created, that post bike accessory upsell cross-sell, no revenue, nothing's been sent from it. If I open it up, it'll actually tell me, okay, great, what's been sent, and what the open and click rate is, and all those sorts of things. Now, the reason there's 2 here is I actually tested it this morning just to see what I was going to do, and I created an extra one and didn't get rid of it. But when you open these things, you'll be able to see things that are happening inside of them. So as an example, I can see the title with a view of the email. I can see when it was sent, how many is sent, what the open rate is, click rate, when it goes. I can also, just as a note, add more emails to this stream, right? And I'll add one. There aren't that many for me to go send, but it gives me, this sort of wizard again. I can go, move through this whole wizard again, and it will add another email to that campaign. It's just a different way of starting it. I am going to leave without saving my changes. But to get back to manage campaigns, and I can see this campaign, other things I can do is edit columns, which is, what's the recurrence, what's the revenue, and there's no revenue yet, right? This one was just sending, but I could look at the subject line if I want to, right? Consider these helmets and accessories for your new bike, which we just created. I could add the campaign category, but I already know what that is. Opens, clicks, bounces, what template you're using, when it's going to send next, all that sort of stuff. Just as a note, if I were to leave here and come back, those columns wouldn't stay there. You'd have to add them back in. That's going to be updated pretty quickly in our platform, so that you will actually be able to see what is changing, what is not. All right, we're getting near the end, and I just want to mention a couple things, right? One, campaigns will show you total revenue from all these campaigns. Ad hoc are ones that are not categorized, right? These are all the ones that you're sending on an ad hoc basis. Sorry, the data here is not great. It's just a demo tool. But the categorized should show you all the ones that are categorized. And ad hoc, if you just send a newsletter on a Tuesday and you didn't categorize it, I would, as an example, recommend categorizing it as a newsletter, but you don't need to, so therefore it'll be in this ad hoc segment. All right, Jason, I realize I went a little bit slower than I would have liked to, and we're about out of time. Are there any questions that have come up or that I can answer, just as we've got a couple of minutes left?
I am not seeing any, but if any come in here at the end, we'll certainly be happy to reach out to people and try to answer any questions that you had. It does look like we are pretty much out of time, Scott, so thank you so much for that demonstration. This does bring us to the end of our session. And to recap, we walked through the new changes and the updates to our platform. Between the updates to the homepage, our menu, our email design library, and the brand new functionality of the Campaign Wizard and the Manage Campaigns screen, we're really hoping that you learned at least a little something more about our CDP and how you can better utilize our CDP. So thanks again so much for joining us. We hope you all have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, one last thing. If anybody has any feedback, please email me. I'd love to hear other features that you're interested in. There's a lot on our roadmap. There's some really exciting things, which is build entire product sets in an email automatically based on what you have in your e-commerce tool. So if you use Lightspeed e-commerce as an example, that product set will just get automatically built, and you don't have to do any of the complexity of building it. Those are all things on our roadmap, but I'd love to hear other things that you guys think we should add. So I apologize for going over. I will stop here and end the webinar. So thanks so much.